This is San Diego News Daily.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to San Diego News Daily. I'm Marianne Kushi. There has been really this disturbing discovery in the Otay Valley Regional Park area. 2 bodies have been found. Today, investigators say the deaths appear to be unrelated, though it's still early on in the investigation. And while an identity has not been made official by the medical examiner, the mother of a 15-year-old boy says one of the victims is her son. NBC 7's Dave Summers has the latest on this investigation.
A frantic 36-hour search for a special needs teenager ended Friday morning in tragedy.
I needed to be here for her, yes, and the family.
Close family friend Cecilia Rubalcaba has a special needs son who is a classmate of Julian Guerrero's at Montgomery High School. She joined the search Thursday. The group posted these missing persons placards where they thought he might be.
I feel horrible because it's so close to home, because I have a child that has special needs, and to know that they're together at school. They just saw him on Wednesday, and another day they don't know anything about it. The kids are worried.
Guerrero left home with his bike. Rubalcaba and the rest of the searchers were led to the Otay Valley Regional Park by a homeless man who had what looked like the teen's bike in his possession. The man said he found it by the pond. This is where divers from Fire and Rescue enter the pond to retrieve the body of that teenager. The edge here is sheer, about 6 feet, and then the water itself is about 4 feet deep. This is kind of a splinter trail. It comes off the main trail that runs through Otay Valley Regional Park, but it's only 14 steps from the main trail to the water. So you think it's him?
Yes.
Rubalcaba says she was with Guerrero's mother when police showed her a picture of the boy pulled from the pond. She identified him as her son.
And she's just crying aloud, calling for him.
So overcome with grief, she fainted and was taken by ambulance to a nearby hospital. We went with Rubalcaba to see where the teen was discovered. She told us Julian suffered from fits of anxiety and disappeared 2 months ago. He was found unharmed 24 hours later.
He just ran out because of his anxiety. They were able to find him really quickly. It was nothing like this.
Rubalcaba took the opportunity to reflect by the pond and gather her courage for the difficult next step of explaining it to her children. In Otay Valley Regional Park, Dave Summers, NBC 7.
Neighbors in Borrego Springs, they are really angry, and they are once again facing the possibility that a sexually violent predator will be living in their community, and they say that they're tired of it. Liberty Healthcare supervises predators who have been released, and now officials say they have identified a possible home for a man named Gary Snavely in Borrego Springs. In 1987, he was convicted of molesting 2 young girls in Orange County. He went to prison for that. He completed a treatment program and then was ordered to be conditionally released in 2022.
Borrego Springs has become a dumping ground for sexually violent predators. This is not the first time the state has come knocking on Borrego's door. It's not the second. It's not even the third.
Well, at the end of the hearing, the judge said that he wants to take everything into consideration and that he should have a decision within about a month. We all know it's expensive to live here in San Diego, and now there's yet another piece of proof here. The latest affordable housing report shows you need a little bit more than $50 an hour, earn that, $50 an hour, just to be able to afford the average 2-bedroom apartment here in San Diego. And housing advocates are saying that there's just not enough housing available, especially for working families. The Basic Needs Coalition is made up of more than 40 organizations, and they are calling for the city to build 150,000 new affordable homes.
What we've been seeing over the years is a large amount of production at the high end, an ongoing but low, modest amount of housing at the very low end, and nothing essentially being created in the middle. So the answer there is we're going to have to do a number of things, one of which is to look at building row homes, townhomes, other new housing types that are less expensive to build than these towers, that families can start out their housing journey on.
Well, advocates are saying that high housing costs are also leading to food insecurity and child care challenges all across this county. The city of Escondido is now moving forward with some new plans to crack down on illegal fireworks this week. Local leaders advanced a plan to increase fines from $100 to $1,000. Police and fire departments would also be allowed to use drones to catch people illegally lighting up fireworks. The ordinance still needs to pass the second reading. They hope to have the new rules in effect in time for the 4th of July. One of the largest resorts on the West Coast is celebrating its first anniversary. In its first year, the Gaylord Pacific on Chula Vista's Bayfront has already attracted hundreds of thousands of visitors. The Port of San Diego says 400,000 room nights are already booked for this year alone, and the resort is projected to rake in $350 million during that time. All of that attention also benefiting neighbors like the Living Coast Discovery Center.
We are seeing more tourism come to the South Coast, South Bay. We've had some programs there to make sure that we're reaching their guests.
Well, there are more changes to come to the Bayfront, including the expansion at Harbor Park. There'll be more hotels, homes, and a possible sports complex. Coming up right after this, a look at your first alert weather with Brooke.
You count on breaking news.
People running in the streets, they have their kids, they have their pets.
And help preparing for the unexpected.
Small fire right now, we'll keep an eye on it.
You count on stories from your community. You count on getting different points of view.
We're still human.
And your voice being heard.
We need help.
You count on in-depth reporting.
It's a mess, and it's making people sick.
Because you know the whole story is more than just the headline. This is coverage you count on, only on NBC 7 and Telemundo 20.
Here's a look at your local weather headlines on this Saturday. May Gray is back from the coast to your valleys. We have gusty wind conditions, though, developing going into your afternoon. This is mainly for the mountains and the desert regions, but we're also going to feel a steady breeze over some of our inland valleys, even along the coastline. And this last point here, elevated surf. We have a beach hazard statement going into effect later on, and that will impact the coast as we get into even the start of this upcoming week. Let's start here in La Jolla. So the coastal forecast shows, first of all, the rip current risk will be high. Please be careful if you're getting in the water. It's also advised just to avoid getting in the water because of these dangerous conditions today. Those rip currents can pull swimmers and surfers out from the coastline very quickly. The wave heights, however, are going to be up from about 3 to 5 feet. High tide will be right around 11 a.m. Low tide returns, peaks close to about 4 p.m. Hourly forecast shows the clouds, they're going to want to stay put. So if you're planning that beach day, I just want you to know we have the cloudy skies, we have some temperatures close to where they should be for this time of the year, but still it's just going to feel a little bit cooler out along the coastline, mid 60s. So here's that beach hazard statement. This goes into effect at 6 o'clock tonight, and it'll last until Monday morning at 9 a.m. for the entire coast of San Diego County. And the wave heights will be generally from 4 to 7 feet, but take a look at the high tides, 6.5 feet up to about 7 feet. And that's going to be a factor for some of those areas along the coast where you have low-lying portions, parking lots, things that could potentially have minor coastal flooding because of the higher than normal high tides. In the meantime, we'll have the highest wave heights on those west and northwest facing beaches. La Mesa today, you could see those temperatures will be right around those low 60s through about 9 o'clock, mid 60s by 11 a.m. Mostly cloudy skies heading into your afternoon. Then we get the chance for some of that sunshine as the winds start to pick up, as some of that mixing starts in the atmosphere. Over the coast today, we have those mid to upper 60s. Again, close to where we should be for this time of the year. Look at your inland valleys, though. Upper 60s to about the mid 70s today. Some places about 3 degrees below average. Other areas like Ramona trending about 6 degrees below the seasonal norm. 60s up to about 70 degrees for the mountains. You have gusty wind conditions developing here today. Those westerly winds will also be strong over the desert region where temperatures are going to be right around 90 degrees. So let's take a look at the future weather pattern. I think this does a good job showing you what you can expect when it comes to the wind speeds. Right around this afternoon, close to about 2, 3 o'clock, that's when the winds are going to start to pick up. Taking a look at the mountains and the deserts right off the bat, 30 to about 45 mile per hour wind speeds. Again, westerly winds, they could go up from there, especially over the desert region. This could create dangerous driving conditions for commuters going through those higher elevations into the low desert as well. So just be mindful of that. We're talking about areas with blowing dust. Again, that could decrease visibility, especially over the deserts. Meantime, over the inland valleys along the coastline, as we look ahead to this evening, the return of more of that cloud cover that'll stay put through the overnight hours. Even early tomorrow morning, you can see right around 3:30. The winds are still going to be picking up to about 15, maybe 30 miles per hour between the mountains and the desert region. It's why we have the wind advisory going into effect at 2 o'clock today. It lasts until 11 p.m. Sunday. This is for the mountains, for the desert region. I'll leave you with this. Look at the 10-day forecast. Temperatures are going to stay fairly consistent through the end of your weekend, and then we start to warm up. You'll feel that more for the valleys, but the coastlines will start to catch up more by Tuesday, heading into Wednesday. By that time, we're looking at some mid-70s for max daytime highs, and we'll probably hang on to some 80s for the valleys through Friday. For the mountains, mid to upper 70s Tuesday through Friday, even into next weekend. And for the desert region, those temperatures right around the 80s tomorrow and Monday, but it looks like we get pretty close to triple digits by about midweek, Marianne.
This weekend marks your final chance to enjoy the flower fields in Carlsbad. Mother's Day is really typically the last day of the season, but with the flowers still in bloom, organizers extended the season another week. Now the last day will be tomorrow. If you want to check it out, you do have to buy your tickets first online before you show up. The fields are open from 9 to 6. We've got more coverage to count on NBC7.com. I'm Marianne Kushi. Thanks for watching.